We have mapped the ocean floor. We have photographed the far side of the moon. We have landed a probe on a comet moving 40,000 miles an hour. But there is one direction no human eye has ever looked, a direction that does not point north, south, up, or down. It points out of our entire universe. Mathematicians have known since 1884 that it is almost certainly there. And if something lives in that direction, it is watching your heartbeat right now, and you are as blind to it as a drawing is blind to the reader. Subscribe. We are about to look somewhere our eyes were never built to point. In 1884, a London schoolmaster named Edwin Abbott published a strange little novella called Flatland. Its hero is a square, not a person who is square, an actual two-dimensional square, living on an infinite sheet of paper with triangles, pentagons, and circles. In Flatland, there is no up, the word does not exist. When a sphere from our three-dimensional world visits, the square can only see a circle that appears from nothing, grows, shrinks, and vanishes. He cannot picture the sphere. His brain has no room for the direction it came from. Abbott's point was quiet and devastating. We are the square, one level higher. There may be a direction pointing out of our universe right now, and our minds, like the squares, have no word for it. And this is only where the horror begins. Now take a cube. 6 square faces, 12 edges. Every child can picture it. Mathematicians in the 1880s asked a simple question. What if you extend a cube one more direction into that missing axis? The answer is called a tesseract, or hypercube. It has 8 cubic faces, 24 square faces, 32 edges. Every angle is a perfect 90 degrees in every direction, including the one we cannot point to. Here's the disturbing part. We can never see a tesseract. Not with better telescopes, not with brighter light. What you see in animations is only its shadow, projected down into 3 dimensions, the way a wireframe cube casts a flat, twisting shadow on paper. On somewhere, in a direction your eyes cannot turn, the real object rotates, and its shadow is already unsettling. Imagine then what would happen if a 4-dimensional object drifted through our world. From our side, it would not arrive from any direction we know. It would simply appear out of nothing. A single point, then a strange shape blooming outward. It might split into pieces that float apart with no connection between them, then merge again, twist inside out, and vanish, leaving nothing behind. Nothing about it would obey the rules our brains were built for. This is not mysticism. It is the exact geometry of a sphere pushing through Flatland, a circle that grows from nothing, reaches maximum size, then shrinks and disappears. For the square, magic. For us, physics. And this is where the fear starts to sharpen. Because if such an object can arrive here, so can an observer. Here's a thought experiment mathematicians have taken seriously since the 19th century. Draw a circle on paper. Inside it, draw a tiny dot, a Flatlander's secret, hidden behind an unbroken wall of ink. From the Flatlander's point of view, that dot is sealed away forever. But you, looking down from above, can see every point inside the circle at once. The wall is only a wall in 2 dimensions. From above, it is not a wall at all. Now step up 1 level. A 4-dimensional being looking down at us would see the inside of your chest as easily as you see the inside of a drawn circle. Your beating heart, the contents of a locked safe, a sealed room, all exposed, not by X-rays, by geometry, and it would not need to break anything to reach in. Now push it further. If a 4-dimensional hand reached toward that locked safe, it would not need to touch the door. It could enter the safe from a direction perpendicular to every wall at once, the same way your hand can pluck a coin off a table without passing through the wood because you approach from above. To a Flatlander, that coin simply vanishes. To us, watching a 4-dimensional thief, our valuables would evaporate. Worse, a surgeon from the 4th dimension could remove a tumor or a kidney or a bullet without a single cut. The skin would never break. There would be no wound to find. This is not fantasy. It is a direct consequence of Abbott's geometry. And it means that in principle, nothing you own and nothing inside you is closed. It is only closed to us. In our 3 dimensions, a knot in a rope is permanent unless you untie the ends. A wedding ring, once welded shut, cannot be linked with another without breaking one. This is not a technical limit. It is a mathematical law of 3-dimensional space. But mathematicians have proven rigorously that in 4 dimensions, every knot falls apart. You could pass one loop through another without breaking a thing because there is an extra direction to slip through. And there is worse. A single rotation in 4 dimensions could flip a human being like a mirror image. Your heart would move to the right side of your chest. Your left hand would become a right hand. Every molecule in your body would be reversed, and you would not feel it happen. You would just wake up wrong. Nothing torn, nothing cut, just flipped. In 1908, a mathematician named Hermann Minkowski stood before an audience in Cologne and said something that changed physics forever. Space by itself and time by itself would fade away, he told them. Only their union would survive. Einstein's relativity, published 3 years earlier, only truly worked if time was a 4th dimension, woven together with the 3 of space into a single fabric called Spacetime. Here is the terrifying implication. In that geometry, your entire life, every heartbeat from birth to death, already exists as one long 4-dimensional shape stretched through spacetime. You do not travel through your life. You are your life, all at once, from outside. What you call the present is only one thin slice your consciousness happens to be reading. The future you fear is already there. The past you lost has never left. But physicists were not finished. In 1921, Theodore Kaluza sent Einstein a letter proposing a 5th dimension to unify gravity and electromagnetism. Einstein sat on it for 2 years, then admitted it worked. Modern string theory, developed through the 1980s and 90s, requires 10 or 11 dimensions to make its equations consistent. That is a theory, not a proven fact, but the scientists proposing it are not fringe. They include some of the most cited physicists alive. Where are those extra dimensions? Curled up, they say, so tightly wound that at every point in space 6 more directions exist, each looped smaller than an atom, smaller than a proton, possibly smaller than anything we can ever detect. You are not just walking through length, width, and height. You may be walking through 6 others every step you take without noticing. Here is a mystery that keeps physicists awake. Gravity is absurdly weak. A tiny magnet can lift a paperclip against the pull of the entire Earth. Compared to the other forces of nature, gravity is roughly 10 to the 38th power times weaker. Nobody knows why. In 1999, Lisa Randall and Raman Sundram published a serious proposal, the brane-world model. Our universe, they suggested, is a 3-dimensional membrane, a brain floating in a higher dimensional bulk. Every force is trapped on our brain except gravity. Gravity leaks. It bleeds out of our 3 dimensions into a 4th spatial one, draining away where we cannot follow. That is why it feels so faint. Most of it is not here. Somewhere in a direction we cannot point to, our missing gravity is going. And whatever it is going toward, we cannot see. Which brings us to the quiet horror underneath all of this. If a higher dimensional being existed right beside us, not light years away, but here, in the room with you, it would be as invisible to us as the reader of a comic strip is to the character drawn on the page. The character has ink for eyes. The eyes point along the paper, not up out of it. He can never turn his head in the direction the reader is watching from. Every geometry we have discussed, Abbott's Flatland, the Tesseract's shadow, the 4D observer who sees inside you, gravity leaking away, all of it points in the same terrible direction. There may be an observer, perfectly still, perfectly silent, reading you, and you will stare into empty air for your entire life and see nothing, because your eyes were built for a world that is only a page. The 4th dimension is not a place light years away. It is the closest place we have never seen, possibly inches from your face, possibly wrapped around every atom of your body. The mathematics is real, the geometry is airtight. What remains uncertain is only whether anything is there looking back. So, the question is yours. Which idea disturbs you more, that a four-dimensional being could reach inside your chest without leaving a mark, or that your entire life already exists as one frozen shape and you are only reading it one page at a time? Tell me in the comments, and keep watching the empty air.